some of which is very legitimate and very impressive. But then what we have on our side, that even mathematicians don't understand these things, some of them, of course. Can you please? This is a very important sentence for me. He says that we must assume that these momentous inventions were not just due to the momentary illumination of an erratic genius much in advance of his time, but that they were essentially the product of the social milo. This is very important. The nations who excel in science in general and disciplines, particular disciplines such as mathematics in particular, they basically understand this, that it's not creation of just few individuals, and that creation is not erratic. That invention, that creation appears only in those cultures where they have some history, some background. And this is what it is. The social life actually affects our brains, the way we think. And then the creation depends upon how we think. And how we think depends upon the social milo of your social values of your country. For example, if in a country somebody says, "Pad ke damag hi kharab karna hai na," so that means the social value is this, that by excessive study you can only make yourself mad and perhaps made others mad as well. So it's better not to. We hear from our parents that this boy was having a plenty of free time and he was getting into the wrong hands. So I said, "Why don't you better do MA in mathematics or physics?" And he joined MA classes just few months ago, and now he has recently qualified and has done masters. So look at the substitute, that since he was getting into wrong hands and he was becoming almost a vagabond, therefore parents said that instead of becoming a vagabond, why don't you do MA? So easy. Some 50, 40 years ago, when parents used to say to the parents, to the students, to the children, you don't do MA because we know you cannot do MA. It's a difficult job, and you will be just wasting our money. You go and do job and start become a useful person and earning hand for the father. But now it is so easy that they say that instead of becoming a vagabond, why don't you go and do MA? And the girls will say that you are a person in waiting, so therefore, as soon as there is no proposal from anybody, you continue your studies. And as soon as there is a proposal, the halfway through even they stop her without knowing, without asking for her permission even. That, look, I want to continue, I want to study, I want to become an earning hand, I want to share everything with my partner to be. But that's how the social milo is. And that is affecting adversely our lives. That's not a peculiarity, of course, of mathematics. It happens in other areas as well. Can you please move to the next slide? He says that books on mathematics started appearing, continued appearing in these years at these places. But these are mere repetitions of what had been done. Very little original work on mathematics was done in India after the 12th century till we reach the modern age. So there is a lapse in the culture. And yet for all these bright patches, an inner weakness seems to seize India, which affects not only her political status, but her creative activities. So it looks like such a seasoned politician is saying that politics and the creative activities, they actually go hand in hand. So if your political philosophies are defective, if your political status is weak, then the creativity of minds gets grossly affected. The process was slow and creeping one. It affected North India earlier. So North, when it talks about North India, it basically talks about what we have now in Pakistan. The process was slow and creeping, and the South became more important both politically and culturally. Perhaps this was due this was due to the South having escaped the continuous strain of fighting waves of invaders. So you see, the whole nation was busy in trying to stop invasions, and they forgot what they had to look after other than that, which means the political situation, peace in the country, more concerns for education and etc. They had many centers of excellence, as you can see in the third paragraph. Most of them are in the north. So it says that it was basically lack of political freedom that led inevitably to cultural decay. I was the other day talking to one of my senior PhD students, Mr. Nasser Siddiqui. He was about to complete his PhD, almost done. We have already received 3 good reports on his thesis, so he's 99.9 doctor. And he agreed with me more or less that this creativity, because of our patriarchal society, where creativity is discouraged within the families, that stops creativity elsewhere also. Same is the case in this situation. We don't have political freedom. You cannot, what do we mean by political freedom? Means basically, can you criticize in mathematics some big boss according to your wishes? No, you can't do that because you know the consequences. Today, in my lecture today, I said something about the number of papers that we are producing, and within no time, one of my senior colleague, Dr. Aslam, he received a message, SMS, a very angry one, why I have saying those things. So look at the response, fast response. Somebody from here sent a message to somebody or left the mobile open so that the other person can hear what I was saying, and there was an immediate response. I personally don't care, but then many people do care. So that sort of freedom we don't have. We don't have the tolerance and freedom, tolerance to hear others' criticism and have the courage to give freedom to others. When you lack that kind of freedom, there's a cultural decay. Look at this situation wherever Pakistanis have gone abroad, they are not so rigid in mind or customs or in their economy, and they have opportunities for growth and expansion. They have displayed energy and creative vigor outside, more so than their own country. But in Pakistan herself, the spirit of exclusiveness sapped this creative faculty and developed a narrow, small group and parochial outlook. Life has become cut up into, light has been cut up into set frames where each person's job has been fixed and permanent, and he or she has little concern with others. So we are confined to our own little domain where we do not let anybody enter, don't, show our concern for what is happening around us. And in order to develop into a viable and vibrant society which has creative vigor, we must free ourselves from dogmas and harmful social values. Intellectual freedom must be felt. कोई नहीं और आखिर में एक तस्वीरें हैं 2, उसको बंद करेंगे. Yes. We need to ये ना एक ये है, इसके अंदर थी 2 तस्वीरें, छोटा करेंगे इसी को. हाँ, मतलब वो पूरी स्क्रीन ना आए ना. आखिर में जाएंगे, यहाँ तस्वीरें नजर आएंगी आपको. या पहले चले जाए, ये दूसरी वाली, डिस्कवरी ऑफ इंडिया इज द बुक टाइटल, इसको जरा हाईलाइट करेंगे. So unless we pluck the courage to say what is true, how can one be creative at the same time? If you keep these ideas that we want to actually pass on to others, to ourselves, and we do not stop what is wrong happening around us, and we do not encourage good that is happening, that we will be actually creating a social setup which will be harmful to a creative mind. What we have seen in the past in India and Pakistan, if we cannot learn from that, if we cannot learn lessons from that and do something to change the current status of science in general and mathematics in particular, we will not be able to come up to the standards that we deserve to be. We have potential, we have the resources, all we need actually is to put them together and put things in the right direction so that we can get what we actually by nature we deserve. नहीं वो जो पहले था ना आइंस्टाइन के साथ, that can we see that हो सकता है उसका? This book was sent to Einstein, and Einstein in this paragraph has praised the book, especially that part of the book which contains stuff on mathematics. What I was trying to share with you here is that why is that people over there, they realize that what is the true nature of mathematics. Those who are not even mathematicians themselves. When India wanted to start its nuclear program, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister. He went to see Professor Bhabha, and he went on foot to go there. And his protocol people said that, sir, you being Prime Minister of India should not go like that. Just send a polite invitation letter to Professor Bhabha and ask him to see you in your office. I'm sure he will come. And then you can discuss the policy, science policy that you want to decide. And the reply of Mr. Nehru was this, that no, I want to go on foot so that it can become a news. It can become a news that Prime Minister of India is going to the house of Professor Bhabha to ask him to give us a science policy by which we can create a nuclear infrastructure for creating this and that. So look at the thinking. Note the thinking of a person, that person wants to make a huge news item so that people should know that if the Prime Minister of India can give so much respect to Professor Bhabha, then any other Indian should give more respect. And this raises the status of both the Prime Minister and Professor Bhabha. This has happened in the past. He has mentioned a great deal about Ramanujan. But then he has not spoken about Ramanujan or his work. Obviously, he can't speak much about his work. But he has spoken about the environment that created Ramanujan. It reminds me of a sentence written in Professor Hardy's book, A Mathematician's Apology. He says, I'm not